Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're mocking the motor up today. Well, we've been mocking the motor up, but I'm finally kind of filming it, at least to kind of show you where we're at. But yeah, I'm really getting in over my head with this thing, but you know what? It's got to be done. I'm not moving the motor forward. Please don't anybody say move it 3/4 of an inch forward. I'm not doing it. I'm a drag racer. Motors go back, not forward. And with the blower and everything else, it's just, I don't want to do it. But anyway, that's what we're doing right now. I've got the motor actually sitting in the car. I'm going to show you in a little bit, and then I got to show you what we're going to do. We're going to mock the blower up on it, make sure what we're going to cut or what we have to cut before we cut it, and then you know, we're going to have at it. So stick with us, enjoy the video. We'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. Okay, as you see, we have one big block Chevy sitting in a 55 Chevy. But if it put a big block in it, they said it'll be fun. So anyway, after moving things around and taking the valve covers off because they won't clear at all, you can see how much clearance we don't have on this side. So let's walk around to the other side and I'll show you this side here, which is again not gonna work. So it's sitting on the factory mounts in the back because that's where the engine wants to sit, and the motor mounts, though they are not on here yet, they do line up. I have to pull the engine out, clean the frame, the weld, all that, but that's what's going on. So I'm going to put the blower on it and see what other kind of fun stuff I run into clearance wise, and then we're going to start cutting the firewall and doing that. So follow along. This could get interesting. Well, we just set the blower on it, and so far things look good, but we're still gonna set the carbs on it and stuff. See, I made a lift plate, the Caveman Garage Special. Sure makes lifting things a lot easier when you're old and it's just you and your wife. So let's get the carbs and the adapter plate on it and see what it all looks like. Well, hey guys, it's been a minute. I just got back from Tri-5s, and what a fantastic event. But anyway, I'm back on the 55, and we're looking at what we need to modify here, at least the way I think I'm going to do it. So what I think I'm going to do here is, if you look, I had a mark here. This is kind of like the bad area because this bend, you know, is a problem. There's a problem right there. The head is actually sitting against it. Yeah, I know, I can move it 3/4 of an inch forward. No drag racer has ever said that. Oh, I'm not drag racing this car. Yeah, I don't ever move an engine forward. So what I think we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to retain this bend and all this material here, and the reason being is when I cut this back, I'm not so much worried about this part, but this contour here, I'd like to save this and reuse it and make it look more like it's the factory. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm gonna mark this up, and I gotta mark the other side and kind of take an estimated guess at all this. But I think I'm gonna cut it back till about like here, you know, cut it here and cut it
you know, straight up to there at maybe, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna redo the top. I don't know, because this firewall is pretty banged up. I mean, I could hammer and dolly that out, but I don't know if I want to bother with that. And plus, there's stuff that needs to be filled. So I actually bought a wheelbarrow because I've had like 5 or 6 guys tell me that the wheelbarrow trick is the way to go. But I don't want to lose any of my foot clearance inside the car. So this side here is what I'm looking at now. So I got to figure this side out before I can figure the other side out. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'll bring it back and I'll show you once I kind of figure it out. I'm gonna tape this out, and then I'll let you know kind of what we're gonna do. And then we got to pull the old big block back out because I can't even get these mounts, the frame mounts, in because the motor's still forward. So it's still not where it needs to be. So I need the motor to fit back, you know. I mean, if I change the mounts around, yeah, it would work and it would move the motor forward, but that's not what I want. So, yeah, let me bring it back and I'll show you what we're kind of going to be up to. Well, guys, so here I have marked off, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut like where the arrow is here. So this line here down to here across, you know, because they already cut for the clutch pedal. I'm just going to cut this out. I'm going to cut it this way here and then down. Just cut that whole section, the whole, you know, this section out here. Then figure out what I'm going to do with it. But I need to get this out so the engine will go back a little bit. And I figure I'll take, you know, extra material out so I can have stuff to put back in. This side here is a, I don't know what you want to say. What do you want to call it? On like a preliminary cut. So I'm going to cut this way, down through here, across the bottom, and then back up. That'll give me this whole chunk out. I can fit it. I'm probably going to end up cutting along this lip, maybe even a little bit higher, and try to save this curve and move this curve over once I figure out what I need. And then this contour, I'm trying to keep this contour, maybe even this contour here, and reuse it. I'm gonna cut that side first, and then I'm gonna rethink this side before I cut it. But this needs to come out because the engine's hitting right here. So this whole thing either needs to move over or something. And I want to keep these bends. I want to try to keep these bends here and make it look more factory. I mean, obviously this is going to be gone, but I'm going to try to make a decision. So, all right, let's get cutting. Well, we cut the first section out. So this is, you know, obviously where the clutch pedal came through. We'll remake all this when needed, once I figure out exactly how deep this has got to be for the engine. So, we have the second piece cut out. Like I said, this is just to get the engine in place and then to figure out what else is going on. So don't judge me yet. I know you're ready to hit the keyboards, but don't do it yet. You'll see a method to my madness, maybe, or I'll be screaming for help. One of the two. So, okay, here we go again. Let's set the engine in here and see how it fits this time. All right, be back in a second. Okay, so the engine is back in, kind of. The driver's side seems to clear okay, but you can see how much this moved back.
but the front and back motion is going to be the same, whatever. But it's still hitting right there, which I had a feeling that was going to be an issue. I don't know if you guys can see that, but so engine's got to come back out, and we got to do a little more fitting. Be back in a second. Well, here we are, back at it. So this is where we are. If you can see, we have cut a lot of this firewall, but I had to. That's where the darn motor is. Once again, I said we're using those mounts, and we've got Earl Williams mounts. Take a look at the mount here, okay, and this, and you'll see that they're not parallel. Well, they're not parallel because this side is bent in. I actually had a friend unbend them, but when I tightened the 3 bolts against the block, it distorted this flat plate. It's just a mess. It is a flat mess. Now, the frame mounts are not attached to the frame yet because obviously I can't get them in here correctly, and I'm not going to try to attempt welding them until I know everything is clear. Motor's in position, it's centered, the other side is pretty close, I just got to trim it a little bit. But that's where we're at. So, like I said, I'm upset. I'm not going to say anything. So, yeah, so this is what the firewall ended up looking like. It's actually, I had to bend the bottom just a little bit. And you can kind of see in here a little bit. We had to bend it a little bit, but this is all cut out to make it fit. To get the motor mounts mounted and then put the transmission in and check it, for the cross member, and bore a hole for the shifter and everything, figure that out. But I figured the motor mounts are the first thing we got to do. I was going to get the motor mounts welded, but obviously I cannot today. Okay, so this is the driver's side, and we had to open this up quite a bit, and then I actually ended up having to bend the firewall a little bit. It's just, you could slip a piece of paper in there, but it's back on the mounts. I did put the clutch linkage on because I wanted to check that, make sure this is all going to work. I have to do a little modifying right there where it's touching the block, but that's not a big deal. But the clutch linkage is on, so it'll work. I just have to, like I said, modify it for clearance. The motor's going to have to come out 5 more times anyway. Yeah, you can see how close we are back here. Actually, there's another spot that's still touching, huh?
Oh, is there?
Yeah. I might have to pull that valve cover off and do something. Yeah, the way the firewall is bent right here. Yep. So it's still not perfectly right, but it's close. So you want to put a big block in your 55, huh? Uh-huh. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys, you know what? We're gonna leave it here. That's what she looks like right now. It's nice to have it pretty much sitting in place. This mount, oh yeah, you know what? I want to show you. This mount here is, man, this mount is fine. It's just, I can't get it one-handed, but I swing this mount around, it'll line up pretty good. I gotta grind a little bit on the side and get it to where it sits flat on the frame, but this is, I don't know why this moved, but I had this, oh, here it goes. So there. So, as you can see, it's pretty close there, but it's a little bit off. So just a little bit off there. But that's not a big deal. I can live with that. This isn't straight because obviously it's not sitting in there. It's got to get a little more clearance. But this mount was perfect. But the other side, man, I'll tell you what, if you bought them mounts and you ain't used them yet, check them because we're going to have a conversation tomorrow. But you can see how far back the motor sits. So So anyway, guys, yeah, that's where we're at right now. So I really don't know how long this video is or was, but I want to thank you guys for watching. And please hit that like button, subscribe, share it with friends, whatever. We're starting to make some progress on the car, but you know, we're still mocking stuff up. But at least I'm not making videos of us cutting the floor out. So that's a plus. So anyway, all right, guys, we'll see you later. Peace out. Say goodbye, doggy. Bye, doggy.